What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Spin Fuel's Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at Vapetasia. So before we get started here today, I do want to give a huge shout out to Kelly Corrigan from Vapetasia. She's the one that sent these products along for the purpose of this review. So thanks so much, Kelly. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you go check her out on Instagram. It's just @thatvapinggirl. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to go check her page out. And make sure you follow Vapetasia as well for all their goings on as well. So that being said, let's go out and give you some background information on this e-liquid. First of all, it's available in 15, 30, and 120 ml bottles. A 15 ml bottle is $12, a 30 ml bottle is $22, and 120 ml is $60. They are available in 0, 3, 6, and 12 milligram, and the PG-VG ratio is 70 VG, 30 PG. So before we get started, I do want to show you just the presentation of the sample pack that she sent me. I mean, just look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous right there. And the labels are really nice and shiny and everything like that. Just really cool looking. She sent along a couple of stickers as well, which are pretty neat, and a flavor card, which is going to be easy for me to read off of. So let's go ahead and get started here. My first flavor is going to be Killer Custard. The flavor description on this one reads, "A hallmark of our collection, Killer Custard is an enchanting mix of vanilla and custard flavors. If you've been searching for the perfect level of sweet and savory, then look no further. Simply put, Killer Custard is the smoothest, richest, and most delicious custard that you can get your hands on. You've been warned, this one is hard to put down." Alright, so it's a vanilla custard flavor. I've got it all ready to go in our Ego 1 and Kanger Subtank Nano kit that we use for reviews. Let's go ahead and try this one out. So when you think vanilla custard, I'm sure the first thing in your mind is, boring, old, just so 2012 or whatever. But honestly, I gotta say, I definitely find more levels of flavor than I thought I would in this one. It's a pretty tasty custard. I'm not the biggest fan of custards, but I can definitely appreciate a good custard when I find one. And this is definitely high on the list, that's for sure. The only other custard that I really enjoy is Yummy by Holy Cow E-Liquid, and this kind of goes right up there with that one. Definitely tastes the kind of egginess to it, a few different vanilla flavors, and it's nice and sweet. So overall, very satisfying. Really happy with this one. Let's go ahead and have our second vape, and we'll get to my ratings. Alright, vapors, so for the flavor on this one, I'm going to give it a 4. Very high on my list of good vanilla custards. Definitely one you should try out. Not your boring, typical custard that kind of lost its way. I really like the egginess to this one, as well as the sweet notes, and there's even some, kind of savory notes as well. Really, really top-notch flavor. So 4 for the flavor. For the vapor production, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I mean, at 70-30, this stuff definitely produces more vapor than your typical 70-30. So very well done on that aspect. And for the throat hit, I'm going to give it a 4.5 as well. Really smooth overall, very satisfying. Not too harsh, not too light, just where I want it to be. So I'm really, really pleasantly surprised by this one. That being said, let's move on to our next flavor. Alright guys, we're ready to go for our next flavor, which is going to be Milk of the Poppy. And the flavor description on this one reads, "Our take on strawberries and cream is the perfect balance of flavor and sweetness that won't leave your taste buds tired. Velvety and luscious, the combination of rich cream and ripe strawberries dances on the tongue on inhale, and just as you thought it couldn't get any better, it exhales as smooth and complex as you've come to expect from Vapetasia." Alright, so let's get started with this one. I kind of have high expectations for this because I'm really, thinking that it's going to be better than average for strawberries and cream, so let's give it a shot. So just on that first inhale real quick, I kind of got that artificial tasting strawberry flavor, almost like a strawberry candy, similar to like one of those foil wrapped looking strawberry candies like your grandma used to have. I'll put a picture up here if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's kind of what I got out of it. A little bit fake kind of tasting. If I was to compare it to a similar flavor, I'd say the closest one I've ever tried would probably be like Cottontail Cream by Lost Art. That's going to be right around the same kind of flavor range as this one here. The cream is kind of nice to it. It does leave a nice taste in your tongue and everything like that, but as far as strawberries and cream goes, I'd give it an average rating. So it didn't really blow me away, but it is a pretty tasty one if you like that kind of candy strawberry flavor. That being said, let's go ahead and have our second puff here. Alright guys, so for the flavor on this one, I'm going to give it a 3. Pretty much dead center in the area of strawberry cream flavors. Nothing really blew me away about this one, but it is kind of tasty with the cream added to it. I think it adds a little bit extra flavor note to it. So yeah, I'd say an average strawberries and cream flavor, but nothing that blows me out of the water. So for the vapor production, I'll give it a 4.5 again. Really no complaints in that department. And for the throat hit, I'll give it a 3 as well. I definitely find that this one is a little bit harsher than the vanilla custard I just tried, so I had to knock a couple of points off in that department. But that being said, if you like that candy strawberry taste, then I definitely do recommend this one. Alright guys, so that does it for this one. Let's move on to our next flavor. Alright guys, so we're ready to go for our next flavor, which is going to be Royalty 2.0. The flavor description on this one reads, arguably our most complex and most unique flavor, Royalty 2 is appreciated by vapors and veterans all the same. On inhale, you'll find notes of savory custard, nuts, and creamy vanilla, met with a mild, earthy flavor that's sure to please even the most discerning palates. On exhale, you'll be greeted by the smoothest, creamiest, and perfectly sweet flavor you've ever met. So that's a pretty bold statement. Let's go ahead and have our first vape on it, and let's see what I find. So it's kind of my understanding that this one is kind of going for almost an RY4 flavor. It's almost the mix between an RY4 and kind of a nutty tobacco. And I know I used the big scary T word there. And yes, I believe this is a tobacco flavor. They don't really come out and say it in the flavor description, but usually an earthy tone kind of means something in this industry. So my guess is that it's a nice kind of caramel vanilla tobacco flavor, something like that, maybe with a little hint of nuttiness to it. And I get all those flavors, which is kind of nice. You really get the layers of flavor. First the sweet hits you, then the mouthfeel is almost like an earthy tobacco, and then on the exhale you get more sweetness. So it's almost like the vanilla and nut on the inhale. When it's in your mouth, it kind of feels like tobacco flavor, and on the exhale, you almost get like a cream and maybe a caramel or something like that. So really do love the complexity of this one. I'm not a big fan of tobacco vapes, but for anyone out there that's looking for a solid, stellar tobacco, make sure you pick this one up. I can tell you already that I think this is one of the best tobaccos I've ever tried. That being said, let's go ahead and have another vape. Alright guys, so for the flavor on this one, I'm actually going to give it a 4. Pretty solid flavor overall. I mean, for me, I had to knock a point off because I can't see myself vaping this one all day, but for you tobacco lovers out there, this one is absolutely going to be for you. If you can really appreciate a good nutty RY4 style tobacco flavor, then this is definitely going to be the flavor for you. I definitely recommend this. And the best part about this one is not only are they available in 0, 3, 6, and 12 milligrams, so even if you are using a pen style device or something like that, but it's also 70-30, so it's pretty much thin enough where you can use it in like a Nautilus or something like that. So I really can appreciate this one a whole lot more than, you know, someone that doesn't like a normal tobacco. It's not your standard Marlboro Red kind of flavor. This is definitely more intense than that. So for the vapor production, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I mean, even for a tobacco flavor, it still produces a lot of vapor. And for the throat hit, a 4.5 as well. Pretty spot on. You know, really happy with this one. I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm very happy I tried it. I wish they would have came out and said tobacco, because I know it's a scary word, but I think that certain discerning vapors can definitely appreciate a really good tobacco flavor. Alright, so that does it for this one. Let's move on to our next flavor. So the next one on our list is Pineapple Express, and the flavor description reads, sit back, relax, and take a ride through paradise on our luxurious gourmet Eliquid Pineapple Express. It's all too easy to get lost in the luxury and refinement on board another one of our favorite flavors. Pineapple Express is an incredible tropical blend with the taste of a big, ripe, juicy pineapple coming through with our trademark creamy smoothness. So from what I gather from that, I guess it's just a straight up pineapple. Not sure if there's anything else in there, or supposed to be. The flavor description kind of leaves you wondering a little bit about it. Let's go ahead and have a vape and see what I taste. Now I gotta say, I was the most excited to try this one when I looked at the flavor descriptions originally. You know, you can't really go wrong with a good tropical kind of flavor. This one, however, kind of makes me want a little bit more out of it. My normal go-to kind of tropical flavor is Shock and Awe by Cold Fusion Juice, and that's peach, pineapple, and mango. So I feel like with an addition of another tropical fruit, this one could really shine. However, it just kind of leaves me wanting a little bit more. It is sweet, and it is a pretty decent pineapple flavor. However, just missing that one extra ingredient or something like that where it would really just push it over the top for me. Not a bad flavor whatsoever though. The creaminess doesn't really come through as much as I thought it would. Maybe if it was like, you know, a pineapple upside down cake or pineapple yogurt or something like that, then it would give it a much, you know, more grounded kind of feel to it. But this one just kind of is up in the air. I'm not really sure where exactly they were going for it. So let's go ahead and have another vape. Alright guys, so for the flavor on this one, I'm going to give it a 3.5. It just kind of seems to have no sort of identity to this flavor. The pineapple just kind of gets lost. It is sweet, it is tasty, but you know, I just wish there was that one extra thing to it. And I wish they would have thought outside of the box and done something like a pineapple upside down cake, or maybe a, you know, rum pineapple something, or pineapple strawberry, or, you know, just anything added to the pineapple could have helped this one out a whole lot. It just doesn't really have a lot of definition. I mean, I feel like I'm being a little bit critical here, but it is a tasty flavor. It is really good, and if you like a good pineapple, I do recommend this one, but I just wish they would have done something a little bit extra to it. That being said, the vapor production, I'll give it a 4.5, just like the rest of them. And for the throat hit, I'll give it a 4. I'm going to knock a half a point off because I feel like it's a little bit on the harsher side, but not overly much. I mean, it's more sour than anything, but other than that, yeah, it's a pretty decent flavor, but just kind of missing that one extra thing. So that does it for this flavor. Let's move on to our next one. So we are on our final flavor tonight, which is going to be Rainbow Road. The flavor description on this one reads, taste every color of the spectrum with our newest flavor, Rainbow Road. You'll sense all the familiar breakfast cereal flavors of citrus, berries, and tangy fruit on inhale, and on exhale you'll experience the smoothest, creamiest milk possible. The perfect combination of sweet, sugary cereal and fresh milk on the exhale will no doubt leave you wanting for more. Alright, so I've been trying a lot of the cereal flavors lately. Let's see how this one stacks up to the rest of them. So as far as breakfast cereal flavors goes, I'd say this one's pretty much average. Nothing's really blown me away as far as the fruity breakfast cereal flavors lately. I mean, if you like the Milk by Telio's or Looper or Cereal Killer or all of those, I think you'll, enjoy this one as well. You do get that milky, kind of creamy aftertaste to it, which is kind of nice. But you do get a bit of more citrus kick on the inhale, which I'm not a huge fan of. I know some people out there are, so don't write this one off quite yet. Do recommend it if you enjoy a good cereal flavor. But for me, it's not an all-day vape, and it's just kind of average and just kind of blends in with the rest of the pack. That being said, let's go ahead and have our second vape. So for the flavor on this one, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Nothing really blows me out of the water as far as this flavor goes, and it just kind of sticks right in the middle of the pack when it comes to these cereal vapes. But it's just not my type of flavor. That's kind of why I'd give it a 3.5. If you are a big fan of cereal vapes, then make sure you try this one. I do recommend it for all you fruity cereal fans out there. It's just not an all-day vape for me, and I can't really get into the cereal vapes too much. So for the vapor production, I'll give it a 4.5. These liquids definitely do not disappoint when it comes to the vapor production portion. And for the throat hit, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm not going to point off because that extra citrus kick on the inhale. Never been a big fan of the citrus in cereal flavors, so had to knock a little bit off for that as well. So as far as Vapetasia in general, I definitely think they have some really hidden gems in there, and I've seen this stuff all over Instagram. I mean, they have really cool looking bottles. They're very shiny, and I love the graphic design on it and everything. But I've never been a huge fan of the hyped up liquids that's all over Instagram. That's all you ever see is those kind of bottles and everything like that. But I was pleasantly surprised by some of these. You definitely got to try. The Killer Custard is really good for a vanilla custard. And the Royalty number 2 is really good too if you like a good earthy tobacco flavor that has a lot of little hidden flavors in there as well. So overall, I think it's a good line. Definitely recommend you try them out for yourself. If you have tried these liquids, make sure you leave a comment in the box below. Let me know what you think of them. Or if you want to try these liquids out for yourself, check out the description. I'll have a link there for you if you want to try these flavors. That being said, that does it for this video, guys. Don't forget to enter my Council of Vapor Mini Volt giveaway. Just watch the previous video. I'll have it playing up here somewhere, and I'll have a link on there if you want to click it right now. But yeah, that does it for this video, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button if you liked it, and subscribe for more of my videos. Check out spinfuel.com for all my videos are up there, as well as Smoke and Joey and Spinfuel official videos. And as always, vape on.